Hello, and we're back. We're back for another episode of Rolls Reviewed. I had to think about that for a second.
Yes. Which one are we doing today? Some
What
kind
are
of
we
roll.
doing? Where am
It's just
I?
close enough to
Who
be
are you
usual,
people?
but it's, yeah.
How did you all get on this call? Yes, we're here to review our latest TTRPG one-shot that we did for 10 Candles. So we're going to go through, why don't I give sort of the categories right at the top, and then next time, I can just rewatch the start of this video instead of having to rewatch the whole thing. So basically, we're going to go through the 10 Candles TTRPG game, which is very good. We're going to be grading it on a rubric of firstly structure, then the art, thirdly mechanics, tone, and lastly story. So we're going to give it a ranking or a mark out of 5 for each category, and then a total of 25. And then we'll add them all together and average it out. Unhinged.
Super
Final
easy.
grade out of 75
Very
that we
easy.
then average out. Yeah.
Well, we didn't
Incredibly
originally have
unhinged.
3 people doing
True.
this, but
I'm throwing off your
joining us
math.
today. Yeah.
It's fine. Math. Who cares about math?
We'll just make the calculators do it. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh God, I have to find it. I have to open
Just
the
have
calculator app.
awful decimals solve it. That's-
Yes. Perfect. Why don't Lee, do you want to do the sponsor stuff?
Oh, yeah, sure. We have sponsors. We have ways that you can support us in many different ways. And one of those is some links below. We've got Hero Forge, we've got Dice Legion, and we've got, oh my goodness, Humble Bundle. Humble Bundle's the other one. That's it. And yeah, we have links below. You can go click on those, and not only do you get a discount on those sorts of services and products that you check out, but a little bit of that money goes towards supporting our show. So we'd really appreciate that. We've got holidays coming up. I'm sure holidays are either coming up or have already passed, depending on when this video comes out.
No, this one's coming out soon. So.
Okay, ooh, all right. Well, I'm going to say it then. Christmas is around the corner, folks, and you need presents. And I think Hero Forge is a great way to do that. Making your friends' OCs, what can be better love? So, go ahead and do that. And get a dice set to go with them, too. While you're at it, you can check out the Dice Legion. Humble Bundle's really just for you, so treat yourself, too, and get a video game. If you'd like to support us more directly, if you are enjoying our videos and you like the content we make, you can go ahead and check out our Patreon page, and you can support us more directly there. Such benefits include our undying love and more videos about gay vampires, so go ahead and check that out. And we may have some Patreon-only content sometime in the future, so go ahead and check that out page. And I think it is just patreon.com/Rolls Revamped.
Probably. I haven't checked.
Our undying love to our favorite patron, our biggest sponsor through all of our long summer breaks is, of course, Kristen. Thank you so much for supporting us, and I hope you're enjoying this new content that we're putting out. And if you want to become one of those great people, go ahead and check out those links below.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, cool. Why don't we hop right into it? Just like a little bit of maybe an overview at the top. But 10 Candles is a very cool game that I got to play for the first time about a year ago. Really loved it then, and then ran it for our one-shot just a couple of weeks ago. It is a tragic horror narrative-focused game. So the really fun thing that I really actually love how this plays out, but it's the kind of game where you don't survive at the end. And I just think playing within the confines of that kind of narrative is so cool and so interesting. It's literally like the Rogue One of TTRPGs.
Yeah, okay.
And I love it. I fucking love that shit.
You know what's gonna happen at the end, but yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool. But yeah, let's start then with our first sort of category, structure.
Sure.
The-
Ooh, God. Go on.
Oh no, just I was the one running it, so I was kind of utilizing the entire, well, sort of the entire book. I realized afterwards that my PDF cut off at about page 66 or something, so I'm missing like the last 10 to 15 pages.
Oh,
I don't know how or
no.
why that happened. But I did realize that I was definitely missing some rules concerning the end of the game that we just made up on the fly. But now I know how you're meant to do it, which is
Ooh,
fun.
I guess
How
I better
far off
read
were we?
that.
Yeah, that's certainly not, the designer's fault. That's just on me.
I'll have to see
I
how
will
it's supposed
say-
to end.
The structure is so good that we ran a full game without me having had read the entire thing. So that's quite good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
the structure, I mean, is kind of the whole game for 10 candles,
Yeah.
right? It's the candles burning, it's the rolls depleting, or the dice pool depleting as you roll. It's even the character building has a structure to it with everyone choosing each other's, what was it called? Not flaws, but
Vices and virtues.
thank you, vices and virtues. Yeah, so like you choose
Yeah,
those,
yeah.
and then so like you all kind of build that structure into your relationships, and that's pretty neat. So I think,
Yeah.
structure is really fantastic in this game.
Yeah, the whole setup with those like giving the other players their the vices and virtues, and like that whole thing is so interesting and so cool to me. Like I would love to even just implement that in other games. Like
Yeah,
it's
right?
so neat. I love that for
Yeah,
sure.
it's definitely interesting as a player because like you come in and you have like a vague idea for your character, and then that can be just completely thrown out the window because you just get whatever you get, and it's you have to like adjust on the fly, and that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. And I like just on the structure of like the book itself, like I think it is laid out in a straightforward sort of way. I feel like I always find that I'm like jumping around to try and find specific things, but that also I think is just a me thing. That's a me and probably an ADHD thing. Jury's still out on that one. But I do think that overall it's laid out in a very straightforward sort of way. I would maybe I feel like it would maybe be useful for me to have like a quick rules, like a cheat sheet
I was
page.
just about to say that, like a round sheet, because there is often where we're just like, okay, so like what's next, and we had to like read through the narration, which is like good, but it would probably be good to also have like that quick, like, okay, so top of the round, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, totally. I think for me, for structure, I would probably give it a 4 out of 5. Because I think, I think overall, I do think it's really well structured.
Oh god, no, it's who goes next. I mean, I'm just from a player side, I was gonna give it a 5 because I really like the like a candle goes out and then there's like a set thing that you do, and like I'm sorry, are we doing structure? I should probably have clarified. Is it the structure of the actual like PDF or the game itself?
I think I had intended it to be like the structure of like the book. But I mean,
makes
it's
sense.
fine. Who cares? We make
yeah.
our own rules.
Probably also a 4 then, because it is like it's laid out in the like stages as you're like going through, but it does make it a little bit harder to refer back.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, that you're right, that it is laid out in that sort of ritualistic, like, here there's light, here there's shadow. And it's a very cool way an original way to lay out the book, but it does mean it's confusing for me, and I have to jump back and forth a lot.
Yeah, I do wish I had like a physical copy of this. I think it would make it a lot easier to do that sort of jumping back and forth, but I don't even know if they do they have a physical copy?
I think you can, because I think it's Cavalry Games. I think on their website you might be able to get a physical one. I will look, and I'll put that in the description. I'll have a link to Cavalry Games.
We know tangentially about how to purchase it.
Yeah, I need a PDF. I need a Control F. So,
Cats.
She's nudging the
Everyone,
microphone.
welcome.
Luna. Oh, she's so. Look at that profile.
It's a good cat. All right. Anyway,
Jawline of a hero.
I guess I didn't give mine a rating at the end, did I? But I also was like kind of raving about the wrong thing. If we're talking about the PDF structure, then yeah, I definitely had a little bit of confusion, and especially like going back and like tense moments while you're trying to may or may not be trying to stab someone before they stab you. maybe maybe you want to know pretty quickly how to do a contested roll. So a quick reference guide would be great. Everything else I love the ritualistic setup. I love all that. I think just a quick little reference guide would be great.
Yeah,
maybe that's in that last 15 pages that we
don't have.
I think the thing that you're referring to is in those last 15 pages. Because I didn't find it after. I was like, that's what you're supposed to do. Cool.
Great. That's pretty funny.
Excellent.
I'll
Rowan,
give
did you give it a number?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I also gave it a 4.
Okay. Did I interrupt
4.
you before you gave it? Okay.
You're fine.
It's fine. Can you give me a clean read so I can edit that out?
I would give it a 4 out of 5.
Perfect. All right. I'm going to write down what I'm saying. My ratings, because last time I forgot halfway through, so that was a nightmare.
Yeah, I think it was 4 out of 5 for all of us so far.
Yeah. Moving on to the art. There's not a whole lot of art in this book, but I think it's really well utilized. All of the big full page sort of splash art that there is very atmospheric. It's very spooky, and it certainly establishes that creepy horror, apocalyptic vibe. So I think in terms of intentionality, spot on. It's very good.
Yeah, I definitely think that the art sets the tone pretty quickly and really gets you in the way that even the way it's printed and everything, the different pages have that kind of centered poetry look to it, so you kind of get into that ritualistic chanting mindset of while you're reading it and everything. I think that's very well done. And I know that's not specifically art pieces, but I think that kind of contributes to the whole part of it. So I really like that as well.
Yeah, and even there's some little smaller pieces of art that are just little pictures of the people or characters, and those are always in black and white, which I quite like. It just really, it feels like it helps establish that here is darkness, here is light. It plays into the motifs and themes of the game, which is awesome. I think it's super well designed and well thought out, and that is reflected in the art.
Yeah, I like that they use the little candle image to kind of denote where there's examples and stuff. So it's it makes it stand out a bit more.
Yeah, that's so cute. I love the candles, especially because they're such a big part of the mechanics of the game, and seeing them to denote the examples and all of that is, I don't know, it feels very my brain just stopped. I don't know what I was gonna say.
It feels very. It's just very.
It feels very. Yeah, it feels very. But no, it's great. It feels striking. Even though there's not a lot of art, the way it's used is so striking and suits the work so well that it's just very well employed, it feels like.
It'd be really nice to get I work at a comic book shop now, so I'm always thinking of editions of graphic novels that come out, but it'd be really cool to get a black version of this where it's all reversed and negative. That would be ooh. Maybe it's
that would be
cool or something. But yeah, it'd be really neat to have an edition of that, but the dark
That's
edition.
The 10-year anniversary edition.
Yes. For the 10 candles, of course.
Let me see when this came out. 2015. So we're coming up on 10 years.
Hey,
so
hey.
Stephen Dewey, all black edition,
Yes.
please.
Give us the darkness edition, please.
Give us the dark edition.
If you had any extra rules you're thinking about at some point, just throw those in the bag. Do a
It'll be a great
hardcover.
chance.
I've seen it. They sell well, okay?
It'll be a great chance for me to get the last 15 pages.
We'll finally know the real secrets of 10 candles.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually a twist ending we just didn't know about.
Nobody
You actually
dies,
do all
actually.
live. Yeah. You do live at the end. Damn it. What? You wake up and it was all a dream. Oh, okay. Yeah. But no, I think the art, I would 5 out of 5. Like, I think it's intentional, it works, it's great.
Yeah, I'm all about minimalism as well, so I love those clean looks, those good, like, bold lines and all of that black and white, and it's very nice. Also a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
5 also. I have nothing more to add. That's, yeah.
We like it. It's neat. Hell yes. Next up, we're going to talk about the mechanics. I think the mechanics are probably the best part of 10 Candles. I think they're so good. Like, I was obsessed the second that I played this game, because what I love, like, the way it's structured, and like, it plays out quite slowly in the beginning, but it really gives the game such an intense sense of pacing, because you get in, like, you're feeling things out, and you're starting off, like, with the exposition and stuff, and then as you start getting further in, the rounds speed up so much.
Fast. Yeah.
And like, any single mistake at the end becomes critical. And it's really such a cool mechanic. I love, like, the diminishing dice pool. Everything about it is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really, like, the way it ramps up at the end really, like, gives it the sense of urgency that's, yeah.
Yeah. It's stressful. It's urgent. I'm like, I think it's incredible. I could rave about it forever. It's so good.
Yeah, it's really just fantastic. Like, I chose it for my in real life job so that I could start out finding, like, a group of people for a D&D game, because I really do think that it's just the mechanics and the structure is so well paced, and I think it's just perfect for a one shot, like, for just, like, a party one night to play together, because, like, it starts off slow, like you said, but then the tension in the middle is built so much, because you start to realize, like, hey, this scene has been going on for a long time, or just, like, you know, like, okay, so our roles have been going, and you're, like, using all these abilities, and then you realize that, like, as you literally burn these abilities away, oh, that's it, though. Like, I did that cool thing, and now it comes the rest of the game, and so that tension being built up is really nice. And then, yeah, those last few scenes just, like, really fly by so quickly.
It's so good. I literally, other than talking about how incredible it is, I don't even know what else to say. It's also, like, it's not a bloated or, like, overly developed rule set. Like, it's so quick and easy, and right, like, even just picking up for the first time, like, it's very easy to pick up.
I think it really lends itself to
No, go.
It really lends itself to, like, giving everyone their moment too, like, the mechanics of, like, having that specifically, you have a moment that you write out that you would like to accomplish and everything, and so that's really neat, and it gives everyone a chance to, you know, do the scenes, and I like that shared narrative. I always love that, and so it gives people a chance to, you know, develop their characters in the little bit of time that you have, and that's always really nice.
I will say the one, like, possible, like, slightly mechanical annoyance is, like, if depending on the way that you structure out your moments and stuff, because they have to happen in a specific order. So if you structure it in such a way that, like, I think, was it B, just, like, didn't get their first thing out of the way, just the way it was structured, and so just didn't get to use any of their powers and stuff.
This is a little strange that you had to do in order. But
well, it's so intentional, though, because you have to, like, think about, as the player, how these things are going to come up from a story perspective, and, like, what things you're going to be able to use, even in terms of narrative, to propel your character forwards. And I think it's so, like, I feel that's not really something you necessarily know the first time playing it, but I think after you've kind of picked that up, it becomes very just so interesting. And, like, you're right that it can screw you over for sure.
It's true.
But, like, if you're thinking about it intentionally, I think it's so interesting as a mechanic. Just
it definitely, like, as a player, it does make you think about, like, from the beginning, like, what you think your character arc is going to be. But it does mean that, you know, if you're not putting that thought into it, it can really screw you over.
For sure.
Or just if you get really unlucky, like, it really,
Yeah.
It can be hit or miss. Yeah. I think like the hard part maybe with the mechanics for me to wrap my head around, and I think this wasn't so much, an inherent flaw in the mechanics, but just the way that I was thinking of it was like trying to figure out if every action or decision merited having a conflict roll. But I think that is sort of I was thinking it in terms of like something being difficult, but it's really more so a choice you're making where the result is unclear. And I think having like read that afterwards, it's easier to like reconcile in my mind. Because it's not so much like a D&D where it's kind of like it's something that you rank on a, there's a difficulty, there's like that's how you're establishing if you succeed or not. It's really just the result is unclear. And so you do the roll, and then you do the So I would give it 5 out of 5 for mechanics because I just think they're fucking great.
Yeah, definitely.
Just incredible. I would give it a 6 out of 5, but I think I broke my own system. So.
Yeah, definitely also a 5. Like the few like minor things, it truly it's not like a flaw with the game. It's just something you have to like keep in mind.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I would
cool.
agree.
Okay.
5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Perfect mechanics.
Just perfect. Truly perfect. All right. Moving on to tone. I think the tone is also, I feel like I'm going through this and I'm just like, everything is very good. I love this game a lot. I think the tone is extremely well established. Like, right, we talked about the art and sort of the structure and how all of that lends itself to this like apocalyptic horror kind of narrative. Like, the examples that are written out where it's like the actual what the characters would say or what they're thinking, and right, it reads like you're reading the last account and the last testament of these characters, and it really it's extraordinary. Like, it really sets a tone and it just pulls you in.
also just like the nature of the game itself, like the atmosphere that it creates just by like playing, it's perfect. It's just perfect. I don't know. Like, you're playing in the dark, and as the candles go out, like they actually go out and it gets physically darker, and it's
Yeah, the ritualistic part of it, and like with the blowing out the candles, and it gets darker and darker as you're playing, and you're getting to the end of this tragic horror narrative. It really, like, the tone. I should have like Googled thesaurus like synonyms for like incredible, because I really just think it's extraordinary. Like, it's just
superb.
Superb. Everything about it is so well thought out and well conceived. Like, peak game design. For real.
Just everything about the tone is really fluid, and the art, of course, helps everything come together. And just it's all so expertly executed and put together that I don't really have anything to add. You guys already said all of that needs to be said, I think.
Yeah, it really just feels so cohesive. Like, all of it, the tone is so well maintained, like throughout the book and even throughout like when you're running it throughout the session. Like, it's perfect. Truly perfection. 5 out of 5 tone for me.
5 out of 5, no notes.
Yeah.
Perfect game.
Perfect game. All right. For our last category, we have story. I think, like, for us, because we were mostly like, we weren't doing a pre-made module or anything. We were just kind of like, I had some preconceived ideas going in that I came up with, and really, we didn't hardly use any of those. But like, I think that's the nature of the thing in and of itself, right? It's such a collaborative game that the story develops so much based on like what the players are bringing and like the kind of game that you're writing together. Like, I don't know how much really to say about story in terms of like the TTRPG itself. Like it feels like it's conceptually and mechanically very fluid. Like it gives you the tools to write your own story. And I think that's the part that interests me more so. But
Yeah, it
there
gives
are
you, like...
yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, it gives you an extremely basic framework for what the story is going to be, and then just kind of leaves you to fill in.
Yeah.
Just,
But
like,
in a way
nudges
that's
you in the
like,
right direction.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think, like, really, that's honestly my preference for a game, anyways. I don't like modules. Anything
Yeah,
where I
always
have to
end up making
read.
my own
Yeah,
story.
anything where I have to read a big document and then refer back to things that I've forgotten because my memory's terrible is a nightmare. So for real, I would rather have something like this. I honestly didn't really look. Like, I know at the end of the PDF, they do have, I believe, a couple of modules that you can run. I didn't look at them a whole lot because, again, it's like I just don't really vibe with pre-made modules.
We all started talking about our characters, and we're just like, okay, now we're doing this.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, like, just in terms of the very basic story structure it gives you, it is definitely interesting, like, as a player, because it is different from your usual TTRPG of, like, I want to win, because you go in, it's like,
Yeah.
you've already lost, so it's just kind of like making it meaningful as you go. It's just,
Yeah.
it's different, and it's very interesting and fun.
Yeah, I love that too. I honestly like I feel like when you read the concept, it feels like it would be a bit of a downer because you die at the end. But I actually like for someone with anxiety. There's almost something like freeing about knowing that you can't win.
It's yeah, there's catharsis also, just like...
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like it gives you more space to explore, like really explore the world and not be afraid of like making mistakes or doing the wrong thing because you know that you're going to. So like it feels like it takes the pressure off. Like you don't have to be good at it.
Yeah, I think it definitely lends itself to like different kinds of groups too, because like with ours, we definitely have like a good mix of like serious drama and, you know, comedy. We like to do that all the time. But if you're just like
very silly.
yeah, if you're a more lighthearted group, you definitely can just go like, you know, like crazy and do whatever because you're gonna die. Who cares? And you know, just do all sorts of over-the-top horror movie stuff if you want. Or you can go with like a more serious drama game. It definitely has the mechanics to set that tone as well. And so I think that's great. I think that it's very moldable for different groups. So
Yeah. It really is so versatile. I would definitely give it for story like 5 out of 5. I don't there is I don't want there to be a lot there. I think it's so streamlined and so minimalist that it makes it really easy to navigate and that's what I'm about. So 5 out of 5.
I think honestly I didn't read the story yet because I just played what Remick ran us through. I can say that from what I can see that there is not like a whole lot of characters and crap for you to remember. There's, you know, everything else goes along with the mechanics, and so it's all very narrative. It's all very simple and easy to reference. So I think that, I mean, not seeing it, I'm going to give it a 4 because I don't know that much about it. But yeah, I'll give it a 4.
I think I was also going to give it a 4 just because the way that my anxiety works, when I was trying to get into it, I do find it helpful to have like a little bit more of a story just to like know what I'm getting into basically. So like I like the way that it's freeform in terms of you can create your own, but just like going in blind, it's a little bit intimidating because you're like, I don't know what this game is going to be.
Yeah, totally.
Which, you know, it ends up, you know, you make the game whatever it ends up being. But yeah, that's my only minor criticism. So it's a 4. still extremely good, but
Yeah, no, and that's totally fair. I feel like that came up when we did our little like character building, like our session 0, because I think you had asked me like, "Oh, do you want to describe like the villains or the antagonists a little before because you were the one who was giving some of the traits to the antagonist force." And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
"No. That's for you to tell me."
Yeah, and that's definitely different than usual, but interesting. So.
Yeah. No, so for sure, that is fair. Alrighty. I think that is we've covered everything then. For me, my total, I only gave it 1-4, so that's a solid 24 out of 25 from me.
Nice. I think mine's a 23. I gave
it's also 23.
23,
Somebody math
23.
that. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, the calculator. So we have a total of 70 out of 75. So that means that our rounded off total is 23.3 repeating. So a
I told
solid
you it's gonna be
23.
Awful decimals.
Awful decimals. A solid 23 out of 25, which is 93%.
That's pretty good. It's a
Pretty
game.
good.
One of the best games played recently.
Yeah. It's really, I just think it's so versatile and like, everything about it, chef's kiss, perfection.
Yeah, definitely want to play it again, which is
Yeah.
the best compliment you can give a seat. Yeah.
I will play it again. All right, perfect. Should we go around then and just say, oh, I guess we didn't do introductions up top, did we?
We expect you to know.
I feel like I did this in the last video too, where I forgot. What did I forget? I did forget introductions. I just don't remember them anymore. All right, why don't we go around? We'll introduce ourselves and say goodbye and where people can find us.
Okay.
Why don't we start with Rowan?
God, no pressure. Yeah, Rowan, they, them. I'm basically just here. You can find me on most of the Rolls Revamped content. I don't know. I think I missed a couple. It's fine. It's all good.
I don't know that you did.
Rowan's just been in all the game. No, you definitely missed one, but
yeah,
the werewolf.
I don't think it's our
werewolf special.
Oh,
yep.
That's right. I got you. That's right.
Yeah. But it means I got to watch it. It was great. But yeah, I'm here. Don't go looking for me. Anyway, Lee.
Yes, hello. I'm Lee Baldwin. He, they pronouns, and I am here. I am on Abstract Adventures, which has episodes coming out now. We took a break, but we're back. I promise. We have content, and that's a podcast that you can find on your podcasting app. It's about D&D, and we play it in many goofy ways. So just your typical dramedy, but you can find that. And I am here, and also with Even Footing Games. They make some pretty neat content. We have some TTRPGs that you can test out yourself, and they've got a lot of content over on DriveThruRPG, and you can also find some of their stuff on Amazon, or if you work at a shop and you know what Ingram is, check it out. It's on there too, and you can stock it on your shelves. So go ahead and check that out. Even Footing Games, and I will pass it off to Remick.
Hell yeah. Hello. I'm Remick. Someday I'll remember to do the introductions at the beginning again. I'm Rem of the Realm on most social media. I'm also on Abstract Adventures. We're getting to a very wild point in our campaign. Very unhinged, very exciting. Yeah, I'm mostly also just here. But yeah, that brings us to the end of our episode. So happy October and stay spooky, everybody.
Stay spooky. Thank you for joining us.